What's your question, mate?
It was just a quick question around credit cards. One of the things I guess I'm just curious about with the concept of a credit card is ever since we've had home loans for 30 years and everything else, have basically paid everything on our credit card, lived off the credit card, and at the end of the month pay it off. Interest never goes on the credit card.
No,
we never go over.
So that structure. Banks and brokers loved that in the 90s and the early 2000s.
That's so 90s.
But here's the thing. So if I get on a whiteboard now, what's your credit card limit?
For which one? I've got 3.
Okay, even worse. What are the 3 limits?
30, 20, and 10.
30, 20, and 10. Now, which one do you use every month, or all of them?
They all get used for various things, but the main one is the 30.
Okay, and what's the balance on average at the end of every month when you've paid everything? So this is 5, and then when they don't accept Amex, how much do you spend here?
We probably have about 3 on that one, on the bottom,
cool.
middle.
And then what's this one?
There'd be a couple $100 on that.
Okay, cool. So now we're spending $8,500. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so this is my exact point. You're doing that. You have the perception that this is free. You're getting points and you're spending the money anyway. You have 3 annual card fees. Amex is not cheap to get each year. Amex is like 2.25% no matter where you use the card, pretty much, bar Woolies and Coles. So you're paying a huge payment rail for the privilege of it, of $5,000 you spend every month, all right? And you're spending $8,500 a month. Now, we haven't had a single person's numbers like that are near $8,500 a month to live yet, which means if your living expenses are $5,000, including food, fuel, and fun and bills, you're now spending exactly what the bank wants you to, $3,500 a month on whatever you like because you don't have a plan in place and you've got big credit card limits. So you're spending $8,500 a month. And then do you know what your net monthly income is? Is it 10, 12, 15, 20?
Combined income would be probably 12 net.
Okay, so you got 12,000 coming in, 8,500 going out. Yeah. So that leaves 3,500 left to pay your mortgage. How much is your mortgage every month? I love this. This is the best example I've had in a while. I love this.
I love this.
What you've done for everyone on this session and for me, and I really appreciate it, is you've just demonstrated why we shouldn't do what you're doing, because you're spending $8,500 a month out of the 12 you earn, which only leaves you $3,500 a month to pay your mortgage or get ahead. So if we work out how much your home loan is, the bank has sucked you into spending an extra $3,500 a month because you're hitting $8,500 across the 3 cards every month. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah, but I guess the question I've got is it's how I'm paying it or buying it. It's irrelevant that I'm paying it on the credit card. I mean, if I'm spending the money, if I put it on a debit card and do the same thing.
No, but no, it is relevant because you don't have a limit to go over on a debit card. So what's happening is you can spend 50, you can spend 30, 20, you can spend $60,000 a month if you like. Like I've got no limit on my Amex. I can go and buy a car, right? But I wouldn't. But as human beings, you're telling me you're spending $8,500 on the card and it doesn't. Well, it does, because if I gave you a home loan and a debit card and you tell me your family needs $900 a week to live, 900 times 4, 2 9s are 8, 3,600 a month plus your bills. Let's say your bills were $2,500 a month. That's $6,100, but you're spending $8,500 on your cards. So I just found $2,400 that you're robbing yourself of on your credit card because you're not monitoring it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, $3,500 a month is not to be scoffed at, right? That's going to be 30. It's going to be like 40 plus $1,000 a year I could find if I stopped you using credit cards.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess the thing, what I was trying to get my head around was the idea of looking at your examples you showed earlier about putting everything into the transactional home loan.
Yep.
So it sits in there for as long as possible for the daily calculating interest, right?
Correct.
So
and then your bills, mate, are all direct debited out of the loan. You don't even need a card to pay them, and you don't pay a credit card fee.
Because I guess I was wondering,
some of your bill providers will give you a discount of $4.95 if it's set up by direct debit.
Is it better to have the money sitting in the home loan account longer, or it doesn't matter?
It is, but this whole 55 days interest free is just a scam anyway, because it's in the loan, you spend it, it's out, it's in, it's out, it's in.
In, out, in, out.
And it's calculated monthly in arrears. So when you start on your loan, the interest is calculated every single day. So you don't get benefit out of having it over here unless your credit card limit's $5,000 and you spend $4,950 every month. And then it sits in your loan and just pays that. But you've got a $60,000 limit and you're spending $8,500 a month on it. So you're robbing yourself $40,000 a year.
That's right. Thank you.